Hello. Thank you very much for joining us again. This is the Focus Group. Welcome. Today, this is the 13th of April. The year is 2023. Thank you very much for joining us today. This is the Focus Group. Yes. And today I have a surprise for you. It's been a good run. That guy is a doctor. He's back. It's been long. You know, in January we heard there was a flu that was untreatable by antibiotics. This flu, people are getting it right, left, and center. So I want this guy to clarify to us if he caught the flu. Mr. Sadakta.
Hello, baby.
How have you been?
I've been well.
Umekuaje baba?
Niko salama, niko sadakta sana.
Uko sadakta?
And I'm glad to be back.
Hujatuambia mambo ya flu bana. Ulipata hii kitu antibiotic. Ulikuwa Mbagathi ama ulikuwa wapi?
Mimi nimekuwa tu humu. I've been around about, chasing other things that should be coming on board to make the Focus Group better.
Okay.
So my absence was equally a very big contribution to the show.
Okay.
So mambo ya flu kidogo tulipigana tukamaliza.
Thank you very much by the way.
Nikaendelea na mambo mengine pia kule nje na sasa I am glad to be back.
Okay.
Nimepata kama studio sasa tena na meremeta.
Hii ndio kazi yenye unakuwa ndio ukifanya, so lazima unaweza tuambia kama ulikuwa na flu, haina shida. Haina shida.
Flu ilikuwa ndio lakini ilitibiwa ikaisha.
Ilitibiwa
ikaisha kidogo. Pia nilisafiri nyumbani. Nikaenda kuona mama mzazi.
Mwalimu wako aje?
Mwalimu yuko salakta sana. She's aging gracefully.
Tuliongea naye juzi.
Juzi alipiga simu on Monday.
It was holiday.
It was on holiday.
Tuliongea naye. Yes.
Sijui mlisema nini lakini mimi ninachojua ni kwamba mama yuko salama.
How is she?
She's very perfect.
She's good.
Very, very good. Anazidi kuzidi.
Nakuja kula samaki bwana.
Karibu homa mimi bwana.
Yes. Sasa while I was away also, you started a very interesting conversation.
Yes, I remember on what was that?
That was on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Yes.
Yes, we always have our pre-recording sessions, and once we'd done ours,
yes,
and you had an emergency, I had to pick a different topic altogether. And this is all about the Kenya economy as at now.
Yes.
Very many people are asking very many questions, where the economy is headed to. Is the government doing the right thing? Are we collecting taxes? Vile inahitajika? Are the taxes being put in the right usage? Because just to get a very literal glimpse of whatever is crowning this discussion is, we are aware that our civil servants have gone for 3 months without being paid. And then now there's also the issue of escalating living standards, the cost of living standard. Watu wanateseka sana. So I was trying to bring this on board so that we can have a discussion on what is the economics, where the government and the country as a whole is headed to. And a few questions that we're also bringing the discussion to be our very main topic of discussion is, are we doing the right thing by paying taxes? Sisi kama Wanakenya, ndio nasema kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea. Are the taxes being put in good use, in good way? And what do we need to do to fix this mess rather than mentioning the previous regimes? I think that's where maybe you should be coming in through. Hii kutaja, we inherited a dilapidated government.
Yes.
Lakini right left center tunaona bunge imepitisha mabilioni na mamilioni ya pesa to get new automobiles for our top 3 principals. Na vile vile tunaona the 3 principals pia wako nasema, the second 2 in command wako nasema the spouses pia waweze kupatiwa parallel offices ambazo watakuwa wana run. I mean, where all this money is coming from? If Kenya and David Ndii ambaye ni the chairman of the Economic Advisors Council ndani ya Ikulu anasema for real the government is headed the wrong way.
Before we even come to this man who shares a name with a fallen sound, Ndii. Let me go back kidogo. The first lady, Mama Ngina, aliongezewa pia her pension was raised.
Yeah, biliona. 500 and something thousand.
You know, it's 600 and something thousand.
500 to 600.
It was 500, no, it's 600,000. Besides the point. Now, coming back to Mr. Ndii.
Before we say Mr. Ndii, unajua hata Biblia inasema wale wanao ndio wataongezwa. Wale hawana, the little they have will be taken away from them.
Even Biblia inasemaga Mungu anakubariki na chenye uko nacho. So if you have nothing, please.
It will be double blessing for not having.
Now, on a very serious note, Mr. Sharon.
Yes, please.
There's a question you asked about taxes. And I believe it is not only patriotic, it is morally correct to pay taxes.
It is. That's why they say kulipa ushuru ni
kujitegemea. Sindio? It is one of the things that you can trace back even before Christ. The tax paying. That is something that you need to do. Even Jesus said, mpatie Kaisari yake na upatie nani?
Mungu nayo mpatie yake.
Na Mungu mpatie yake. So it is not only morally patriotically correct to pay taxes. It is a duty. It is a duty. It is a civic duty to pay your taxes.
Yes, please.
Now the problem comes in when we have people like the fallen sound man, Mr. Ndii, when he makes some very reckless statements. And I'm not sure what is happening to this administration. We have people who are making very reckless statements that should not be aired on air. Mr. David Ndii, as he would like us to think that he's very educated, I do not understand why he needs to make such reckless statements. You see, I saw a tweet he did whereby he told people that he was trying to emphasize on a point, and he told people that cheap labor wasn't part of their manifesto.
Yeah, I remember. And
you remember that?
It didn't go so well with most people.
It didn't sit right with me, not even most people. With me being a Kenyan, a tax-paying Kenyan. You see, Mr. David, some of these comments people make just because they got into power. Actually, there is one thing I would like to say. Mr. David Ndii, as he keeps on mentioning in his statements, we are planning. Who is he? You see,
Ndii is the chairperson of the Economic Advisors Council.
Let me tell you something. There's only one person given the mandate to work on the economy, and that is Professor Njuguna Ndongo. What David Ndii does, he's a chairman of CEA.
Yeah, actually,
that is the advisory economic.
It's the Council of Economic Advisors.
Yes.
Ndani ya Ikulu.
Let me take you some notices back. Ndii, he himself, in a statement, is caught saying that he used to work on not in the same position, but in a similar position during the Kibaki's administration. You remember? And he was part of the people who brought the economy to where it was during the Kibaki's administration. But the president, do you know the president? These people can only advise the president. The president can choose to ignore what they're telling him. You see, he himself, I cannot exactly quote what he said, but he said something of the similar.
I have an extract of the same. I'll read it word by word. Now, this is David Ndii, the chairperson of the President's Council of Economic Advisors. Now, he goes ahead by indicating that I've never liked or I've never seen the significance of when the people who are running the current government keeps going back with the blame games. As in, the previous government did this, the previous government did this. And now David Ndii took it even 2 steps behind by mentioning that the Kibaki government failed to achieve political stability, which resulted into a shattered economy. This was during an interview he had with one of the media houses that we have here in Kenya. And he continued and argued that the early years of Kibaki's presidency were marred with a lot of bravado, which prevented the government from addressing the pressing issues. pressing issues here are mambo kama elimu, health, road infrastructure, security, you see. And then now it goes back again to indicate that just the way you are saying, he was saying that I had a ringside seat and I watched Kibaki mismanage politics from 2002 to 2005. All that we did economically came to naught in 2007. It's foreseeable. I think what he's trying to say it's they just got into government like 6 months ago, and whatever they are currently doing will be foreseeable in maybe 18 months and above. But as the way you put it, he sat and watched Kibaki mismanage politics. Why must he bring in the former president, the late former president's name? And as you address that, I'm going to give you other figures on how Kibaki inherited the government from Hayati Mzee Baba Moi, to how the economy was very bad, to now what Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and William Ruto picked it from. Maybe you can chip in a little.
Yes. First of all, I don't know if you're going to correct your statement. I don't think you're going to go back to Homa Bay again. you just referred to Moi as Baba, but that's fine. So now,
Baba yetu, alikuwa Baba Moi.
So now,
yes, please.
First of all, Mr. Sharon.
Yes.
I was watching an interview by Mr. Ndii very recently. Mr. Ndii was asked by the moderator, by the interview. And the interview, I had to write this down.
Yes.
He was asked, what is your proposal to the president? Because you're the chairman of the body that is tasked to advise the president on economic matters. You understand?
I get you.
Both here and outside. You understand? He was asked what's the proposals he has for the president, for the statement he made that the government is very wasteful. He tried to bush run all that. He alileta a story, a whole novel. Na aliulizwa swali simple. My friend, if you're not able to answer such a simple question, what are you doing? Then all you're doing is ranting on social media. These are people, and I think I told you this again. These are political influencers. You understand? Because whatever you're coming on TV every other day, I think we've seen him on TV more than we've seen him working. Because if all this time he's come on TV, is ile ilifanyika. He's never come on TV and give us substantiality. Told us this is what I'm telling the president to do so we can move this country from mud. I've seen him saying 18 months. He's the same person who went and advised the task force that was advising UDA that it's going to take 100 days to make some changes. Now it's become 18 months. You understand?
They keep changing the goalposts.
These are the people who are tarnishing the good name of UDA. These are the people who are tarnishing the good name of the president. You understand?
Yes.
Let Mr. Professor Njuguna do his job. You understand?
I get you.
How many times have you ever seen Professor Njuguna talking on TV? Unless he's taxed to.
If at all he has talked, I think it's maybe before the parliamentary committees.
I think you only saw him when he was being vetted.
That's why I've taken it back to the parliamentary.
With 1,000-page CV. You understand? Please mind you, Professor Njuguna Ndogo is the CS of Treasury. He's also the person tasked with the economic planning. His docket. That is in the Constitution. You understand?
I get you.
That is enshrined in the Constitution. It is there by right. It is his mandate.
It is his job.
These other political influencers you're seeing on TV every other day giving problems. I don't know. Why are you giving problems? You've been given a job to give solutions. You're giving us problems of 3 administrations that have failed. You understand?
Instead of telling us...
Please tell us what you're going to solve. Stop going back to whatever messes Kibaki made. We are not living the past.
Yeah, and you see, most of the Azimio brigade, they've always tried and told them, when you come on board to tell us how the government is performing, please, let's refrain from mentioning the past regime. We don't want to know what the handshake of retired President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga did. We want to see that we have affordable meals, we have security, tuko na maji, watoto wanaenda shuleni at an affordable fee. But now when it comes to the fact that anytime any political influencer, the way you put it, from the Kenya Kwanza brigade is coming to talk, references are made to the previous regimes. Now you're being taken 3 regimes back. You are talking about a soundbite. Is it the right time to?
Yes, actually, I would love for you to play that soundbite.
Okay. As we listen in, let's really try and capture what David Ndii said during this interview.
Is extremely wasteful. There is not a single day that I'm not exasperated by not just how wasteful it is, but by how deliberate it is and how unbothered people are.
And independent institutions
Now, you can hear him saying, there are very many wasteful expenditures within the government.
Yes.
And he is extremely mesmerized by people are not even bothered on how the billions and millions of shillings are going into waste. This is one person who is the chairperson of the Economic Council of Advisors, who are tasked to make sure that the government is running towards the right direction of bringing back the economy and making sure that the cost of living standard is favorable to everybody.
Yes. You see, Mr. Sharon.
Yes.
This is someone that the president should allow us tumchune kila mtu kuchuna moja tukiendaga nyumbani jioni. This is someone who's been tasked to the president, because you're the chairman of the body that is tasked to advise the president on economic matters.
Sorry about that.
This is someone who's been tasked to advise the president on economic matters. You see, I'm trying to look at His Excellency the President, Mr. Ruto. To be honest, he's outdone my expectations. The president he's trying to move forward. If you look at the president and his speeches, he's trying to leave the past behind. And he's trying to make this country a good country. I can tell that. But when you come to these people he appointed to these positions, Mr. David Ndii, to be very specific. You understand?
Today it's you with Mr. David Ndii.
Yeah. Making, first of all, you telling us of how the government is wasteful. We do not care what the previous administration did. That is why it went out. That is why we brought in a new administration to do for us what the previous administration could not do for us. If we wanted the former economic advisor to be telling us of the mishaps they made, we would have told the president, rudisha huyu arudi hapa tuambie makosa yenye walifanya. We do not need a storyteller.
The way they did with the head of public service.
Exactly. We do not need a storyteller. You understand? We need a person who is working. The same David Ndii who gave us stories of how bright he is when he was drafting the Kenya Kwanza, the UDA manifesto. That is the person we need to now come and work. You understand?
I get you.
These are cosmetic influencers, and that is why we are asking them, please, if you're in a position to make changes, come and tell us the solutions. Kenyans want to hear the solutions. You see?
I get you.
Kenyans need to know, yes, money is being wasted. Now you're in that seat. How are you going to fix those potholes? How are you going to fix those holes that people have poked long enough and know they are going to pour money? You understand? That is what people need to hear. People need to hear, where is the next plan coming from? Yes, you've not implemented, but what is your plan? If you cannot answer such a simple question on national TV, what are you telling us? You're telling us the only thing you know how to do is collecting money from us. You understand?
And
if you're going, let me just finish just a minute. Mr. Sharon, do you know what Kibaki did for this country?
I know. Actually, I'm bringing that up.
Do you know what Kibaki did for this country?
He did a lot.
Do you know what democracy is?
Yeah.
Do you know this country would have never enjoyed democracy if the president, do you know how easy it was for Kibaki just to move along with whatever he found during his Moise era? People were not familiar with democracy. It was very easy for Kibaki to continue taking people to Nyayo House. It was very easy for Kibaki to continue with gagging the media. But Kibaki brought freedom. So we can sit here and criticize this David Ndii who do not know how to give us solutions to our problems. You understand?
Yeah. Actually, it's positive criticism because we as the citizens of this country,
yes,
we need to also keep the government in check.
We need to keep them in check.
Yeah, because now, you know, as a very senior person who was an economic expert, when he came talking live on a national TV with a very big viewership, I mean, he ought to have sold some little hopes to people.
At least have a plan.
Yeah, but now when we see somebody of his caliber and we know he's speaking on behalf of the State House and the government, I mean, it takes us to the very many questions of should we even be paying these taxes if the tax itself cannot be managed well?
Yes.
Before you get into your other point, the mentioning of the previous regimes, let me just bring something to you as we proceed. You know, President Moi ruled the country for 24 years. That was between 1978 to 2002. The economic growth from that point that he picked from the late Jomo Kenyatta Senior, it was at 4.5%. And during the entire time, it slowed down to 0.6% when he was leaving government. From 4.5 to 0.6%, that is in December 2022. Sorry, not 2022, but 2002, when now the Rainbow Coalition was taking over. Mm-hmm. And now, that time, it is now President Kibaki who was in power. Mm-hmm. And according to the KNBS, the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics data, it indicates that at the end of his first term, this is the late President Mwai Kibaki, alitoa uchumi wa Kenya from 0.6% to 7.1%. Why are we dragging his name into this?
You know, I do not know if I recall well, I think it's Malcolm X who said that I'm for the truth, mm-hmm, no matter who's telling it. Uh-huh. I think it's Malcolm X, uh-huh, who said that. And now our deputy president, and by the way, I have an issue I'm going to pick. I have a bone with I'm going to pick with a couple of politicians.
This is the only channel that we can hit them hard and yes, let them know that wananchi wanaumia.
Before I even come to that point, mm-hmm, I think the deputy president, the only thing I think I agree with him is, mm-hmm, how he says Kibaki really did good for this country.
He did.
He's never failed to mention that. Mm-hmm. And I think Mr. Deputy President Kidogo. Yeah. I wasn't supposed to say this today, but I'm going to say it. Please, let's not have double standards. I may not be on the same line with the Deputy President. I'm not in agreement with some of the utterances he's made, mm-hmm, in the past. I'm not agreeing with some of his administrative policies, but this is what I'm going to say. Uh-huh. For anybody who's going around ranting and trying to make the deputy president look like he's not doing the right thing, mm-hmm, there is one thing I'm going to quote a politician said. Actually, two politicians have made that comment previously on different, the opposite side of the government and one in government. Mm-hmm. These two politicians said, and I was listening to their video yesterday and they commented the same thing. Mm-hmm. Please stop disrespecting our party leader. That is what they said. Because when that person is in power, and you're going to disrespect him as a person, you disrespect that chair that he's in. Is it chair or position? Please stop disrespecting the kiti inaitwaje? The seat of the deputy president. This is an elected member. This is an elected, the second most powerful person in this country. Please stop disrespecting him. If you're not going to respect him as a person, respect whatever he represents. And that is the second most powerful seat in this country. Moving on. Mr. David Ndii, I'm not done with him yet.
Now, there's another extract that I had, but it's been captured on the excuse me. It's been captured on the soundbite.
Yes.
I don't know whether you can talk about this, but there is the question that I wanted to bring forth is: do we have a looming strike by the public servants? Because now it is very evident. It is outside there. It is known all over that it's been 3 months hawatujapokea
Bona Sharon.
salary zao. Yeah.
When you have people who are supposed to, I get why salaries are not getting paid. You understand?
Yes.
It is a very legit explanation. I understand that. Does everybody understand that? You see, the person who's supposed to come and tell us the explanation to that is this David Ndii who's coming to the television and trying to avoid the most crucial questions and giving us around the bush. I do not know who told him we need to go around the bush. We have bushes in our own homes. We do not have roads. So I do not understand why he needs to take us through the bushes. You see, Sharon.
Yes, please.
If you have competent government officials, do you know why Obama seemed so proactive? He seemed to know what he was doing because he was confident and he had answers for every question. Do you know what our president does? I remember when he was the deputy president, people used to say, huyu mtu anaweza kuuzia hewa. You remember?
Si mbali na ukweli.
Ile kitu ya stadium.
Nakwambia, in 3 months time.
When you look at the president, he always, now His Excellency William Samoei Ruto.
Daktari.
Yes. He always has answers to every question.
Confidence.
Giving people confidence and hope.
Yeah.
When you have people like David Ndii, who claim to be very educated, coming on national TV and they cannot even explain what they are going to do. And this is a job they be given by the president, and they get given a salary. And in every conversation he's having, I do not know. I think you need to find one of his conversations. Usikie, we are planning. You and whom? You understand?
He is part of the government.
This is a peanut in a very big jar of mangoes. They are bigger things in this. You understand? Because this is an advisor to the president. Let me tell you something about advisors. One thing I've learned. Advisors are very micro. This is one person who's been put in a jar to advise one person. You understand? Yes. They've been isolated in a certain cocoon and told, you can advise this person in whatever they need to do. So meaning they can take your advice and put it aside and do what they wish to do. You understand? It's if personally I was a person of the David Ndii's what do you say, level, I would have never accepted that position.
Somebody of his caliber.
Yes, I would have never accepted that position. If I wasn't given the CS's position, I would have never accepted that position. You see, I would have never accepted that position. So stop telling us we, you and whom. But you see, when the president talk of what he's going to do, we understand. He's the president. When the deputy president says we are going to do, when the CS says this is an inclusive government, this is the executive. I do not know if the chairman of economic advisors falls under the executive. I do not know.
Yeah, it is an all-inclusive government, and whatever we get to hear from the expertise that we have in government, we tend to believe. But one thing that can always be debatable is the idea that would you rather be very truthful to tell people the exact thing how it is, or be in a position to at least sell some little hopes to people. Because as we speak as at now, the people who have been affected by the 3 months salary not being paid, it reaches a point that now telling you the bitter truth is very painful, you see. But now when you have the opportunity to come and address the nation where very many people are watching live, to really understand what is happening in the country, at least instead of selling the truth, sell some little hope. We need to understand where the situation, where the government is as at now, with the taxes, with the finances, with the coffers, because any other thing that we always get to hear from these people running the government is we inherited empty coffers.
You see, Mr. Sharon, persons who've not gotten their salaries, they do not need to know why they've not gotten their salaries. That is not what they want to hear. What they want to hear is a plan on how they're going to get their salaries. You get? So when you have someone who's tasked to make sure that these things happen, you get? And you do not deliver. When a simple question like, Mr. Ndii, what is the proposal? Have you made any proposals to the president on how to reduce to make this happen? You understand? If you cannot answer such a question, at least come up with a solution. It could be something playing in your head. This is how I can do this for this to change. Tell the people. You get? Sometimes running a government is BSing people like you saw the Bobema used to do. He could stand in a podium and give people a story. Hadithi. You get? Unaona ini movie, ini script imeandikwa, lakini at least people live there with hope. You see? As you find for a solution. Now here you have someone who cannot even deliver a conversation. You get? At least tell people, this is what we are proposing to the president, and I believe this is going to work.
And it's going to help the people.
And this is what is going to help the people. When you have someone who can even not tell a story, a good story, in their line of work, then why do we need them? Because you see, the president cannot do everything. The president, that is why he has these people in these positions. That is why he has his CSs. People to tell his story in the dockets they've been appointed to. You get? Now, Mr. David was supposed to tell us, how do we fix this? Not give us the problems. We already know the problems.
We need solutions to...
We feel them ourselves. You get? His salary is coming through. The people whose salary is not coming through are the people he's supposed to tell now, here is how we are planning to give you back the economy. A good economy. Here is how we are even going to make it better now than you've ever seen.
Because, I mean, trying to also understand and address the economic situation of the country. You know, we also get to go back to the production levels of this country. How are our industries doing? And even people who are in the service industry, how is it doing? What is the output? Because now when we're trying to look at the goods and services and the manufacturing, whatever is coming from there, is the market really receiving this? And is it really turning into a good tax revenue? Because everything bottles down to, are we paying our taxes?
No, Mr. Sharon. I'll give you a line. You get the economic line. There is the start line that starts with the people. That is why you hear a population, the first asset of a country is its people. Then you have the end point, that is delivery. There's a road in here between that is called the taxes now. You get? So you have the people here and you have the end point, the delivery. The reason why the delivery is not happening, it is because the vehicle is not moving. So if you're not able to pay salaries to people, then you're not able to meet the end point, that is the delivery. So if you're not paying me, how are you going to get taxes? You need to pay me so you can get taxes.
So that I can go to the supermarket and buy something.
Exactly. So you also kata hizi vitu VAT sijui mali ilitoka, value added tax mi sijui mali ilitoka, lakini iko in Africa. You get? So this thing called paying salaries, it is not to benefit even the first point here, the mwananchi. It is to see the end point is delivered. You get? So you're able to pay me, I'm able to get a matatu. The matatu is able to fuel. The fuel is able to get exchange for us. So it comes back, the dollar moves, whatever happens, all those logistics you hear happens. So this whole circle is provided by this person. One thing you need to understand, Mr. Sharon, is the civil servants in this country contribute to a very high percentage of taxes. Because they are always the consumption function. When we consume, for you to consume, you have to lazima kuminunua. You have to engage in exchange of currency for you to consume. And once we do that, I strongly believe that is when they will be in the exchange of the currency, hiyo VAT itachukuliwa. Yes. Ule ambaye anafaa kukata ushuru atakata. Yes. Finish. Okay. No, just the point you're saying, nilikukat short kidogo. I think hata ishapotea. Nikiendelea nayo nitarudi kwa huyu Mr. Ndii. But all I'm saying is, if you do not take care of the civil servants, then you're losing a lot of money in taxes. Yeah. Then you lose to even pay the next salary. You get? Yeah. So when you drag the first salary, these people don't come and these people don't spend. These people you do not kata ile pay. So you not able to even pay the next salaries. You get? Yeah. You're not able. Now we have a budget coming up. So I hear almost 1.something trillion is going to be borrowed because we cannot finance it ourselves. You get? That is our 2023-2024 financial year. Yes. And mind you, do not forget, Mr. Sharon, some of the monies that we borrow and put into the budget, some of that money goes back to paying the debts. Don't forget that. Meaning it's not even helping. Yes. It is helping, but some of it, a chunk of it goes back to paying the debts. You know, the other time, I think we were watching some clip that when you borrow money for development, that is good borrowing. Yes. But when you borrow money to pay debts, pay salary, there's a loophole somewhere that this money also goes into corruption. Yes. That is bad. Loan borrowing. Exactly. Yeah. So now we are also going to keep on borrowing. You get? Because now I'm not sure if they are waiting for these debts to come in so they can pay these salaries. You get? We've also cut on subsidies. There are no subsidies right now. You know that? So you've not paid this person, then this person doesn't get subsidies for him to survive. Yeah. And the subsidies were really helping us to make sure that the cost of living standard has gone down. Yes. We were getting subsidies on fuel. Exactly. Hata kama imepunguzwa na a few cents. Yes. Unga ipunguzwe kutoka 200 and 190 to, we want it to be 70. I mean, yes. Getting a meal of gali mboga na nyama should not be that expensive. Exactly. Yeah. And now here you have some countries actually who do G2G agreements and they provide for their people. Now here in Kenya, you have David Ndii who's telling us whatever you're asking from us was not in our manifesto. So please, me saving you was not in our manifesto. You can go and die. That is your own problem. You remember that? I remember he said that. He said that it was not in their manifesto to see that there will be cheap electricity. Yes. Yeah. And he gave us a solution. This is the economist. If you want cheap labor, then you must accept Zima fridge. No, not full-time electricity. Full-time electricity. You get? Yeah. But if you want expensive, you want sustainable power, then it's going to be expensive. Take it or leave it. That is what we are. Na unasikia anasema sisi, we, who are you? Now, the second thing, Mr. David Ndii, the people we have explaining to us is the person who cannot explain to us how are we going now to solve this issue. I think I'm done, Mr. Sharon.
I think anybody else out there who can help us get David Ndii's contacts, this will really help us to get to the root of some very many questions that we have in accordance to financial management, deals of the country, and things to do with the economic situation of the country. Because as we speak, the country is not doing well. Let us not be lied to. And it is time to tighten our belts because we are plunging deeper to the depth to the deep end. And just something that is coming to my attention right now is I don't know how true this is, but ni kana kwamba maandamano itakuwa inaendelea, manake kuafikiana kumekataa kidogo. The bipartisan negotiations will be going parallel as maandamano pia inaendelea huko. So
holidays are back. So tomorrow, it was today. Okay, sawa.
Umesema holidays are back. Some few calls were coming through, but samahani sana tungeweza kupokea simu. But Dan, I saw a few friends of yours who are already with us. Lihanda Isaac.
Mr. Isaac Alihanda.
Shukrani sana. Amesema vipi imenipotelea kidogo, but amesema he's really glad that we are back. I think one of his comments imepotea pale ndani. Brian Baraka, you know Brian Baraka, he said he's listening through. Felix Uchieng ako ndani kabisa, and then we have Beatrice Makau pia. Amesema ameingia kuchelewa lakini hakuna kuchelewa, ndipo tunaanza. We are bouncing back slowly by slowly, getting to understand the kind of conversation that you would be liking us to bring to you.
Na pole sana kwa Mr. Felix before umesahau.
Sijasahau Felix, pole sana kwa msiba ambao umepata. Tuko pamoja na wewe in prayers and at heart. Zach niliona hapo akiuliza nieleza watu ni kwa nini sikualikwa kwa sikualikwa kwa nini? Kwa harusi.
Wakili alisema you need to work harder.
I am working hard. So I really need to work harder.
You need to work harder.
Yeah, tutafika taratibu tu. Apart from this, do I really have any other thing to pass around? Because our time is really getting out. But I think, Thuku, you had one shout out from somebody, but it seems to be disappearing. I had a few friends ambao pia leo walisema tuwarushie shout out birthday yao.
Warushie.
Kuna hapa Suzanne Were na mwita Su, happy birthday kwako. Tuko hapo na Michelle Benson, nitakupatia namba yake ya simu mtumie kitu. Steve, this is Steve Saka, he was an alumni, tulikuwa naye high school. Monique tulikuwa naye college, Walter Mwala, wako wengi sana sitaweza kumaliza. Charity, Sharon, Shaz, Irene na wengineo. Sijui kama wewe kuna mtu yote ambaye ungependa kumsalimia kabla tuweze kufika tamati. Ni saa 1:06 zimeingia ndani.
Mimi nisalimie tu David Ndii. Nimwambie asante sana kwa kutuambia ukweli. We really needed that. Ni vizuri kujua ukweli. Kama hatusaidiki tujue mapema. Kama tunasaidika tujue mapema. Yes.
And it's always a pleasure having you people on board. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for always tuning in. You can still and always find us on our YouTube and Facebook handles. On YouTube, Thuku, Mwita Thuku and Sharon Paul Media. Na vile pale kwenye Facebook mtupate kwenye handles zetu za Sharon Paul SP and Thuku Mwita Thuku. Keep this engagement lively. Let us know what you'd like us to bring to you, because we are here as your moderators, and like this kind of a conversation we're having today, we will be very glad if we can have an economic expert yule ambaye Mwita anaweza mgonga vizuri sana ili tuweze kupata majibu kamili. From my end, I think it's a good night and have a lovely evening. 8 minutes ndani ya saa 1 za usiku.
Yes, let's do the grace as we leave.
Yes.
And now may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ
and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen. Tumerudi na tutazidi kuzidi.
Thank you very much.
Watu walipo ushuru